Good day, hip-hop heads. When a diss track hits so hard that fans stop arguing about who won and start asking if it should have been said at all, you know things just crossed into dangerous territory. And right now, that spotlight is locked on Kendrick Lamar and his lyrical warpath against Drake. So here is the real question. Did Kendrick win the battle but lose the line between savage and reckless? Before we unpack that, if you want bold, no-holds-barred hip-hop breakdowns that hit harder than a closing verse, subscribe and tap that notification bell. The hip-hop watchdog is on duty, and this case is getting serious. Now let us get into it, because Kendrick did not just diss Drake, he dissected him. We are talking about bars that did not just attack the music, they targeted identity, credibility, and perception. And in hip-hop, that's like going from a sparring match to a street fight real fast. Now at first, fans were loving it. Why? Because this is what rap culture thrives on: competition, dominance, and moments that make history. It felt like watching two heavyweights finally collide after years of tension. But then, something changed. The conversation shifted. It was no longer just, "that line was fire." It became, "wait, can he actually say that?" And that right there is where things got complicated. Because hip-hop has always had an unwritten rule: say whatever you want as long as you can back it up or survive the consequences. But what happens when the consequences are not another diss track? What happens when they look like legal pressure, industry backlash, or long-term damage? That's the gray zone Kendrick stepped into. Now let's break this down from both sides, because this is not as simple as right or wrong. On one side, Kendrick supporters are saying this is exactly what a diss is supposed to do. They point to the history of rap battles, legends going all out, no filters, no mercy. From classic rivalries to modern clashes, the goal has always been the same: win at all costs. And Kendrick, he played to win. No hesitation, no apology, no safety net. But then, on the other side, critics are raising eyebrows, and not quietly. They're asking whether some of those lines crossed from artistic expression into something more serious. Because when accusations start sounding less like metaphor and more like statements, people start paying attention in a different way. And not the fun, meme-worthy way, the serious way, the kind that makes lawyers sit up and take notes. Now here's where the tension really builds, because Kendrick is known for being calculated. He's not the type to just say things for shock value. Every bar usually has layers, meaning, and intention. So when he goes this far, it raises a big question. Was this a strategic move or a risky gamble? Because let's be honest, there's a difference between being bold and being exposed. And right now, people are debating which side Kendrick landed on. Now let's flip the perspective again, because Drake is not just sitting there taking punches. Even when he's not responding musically, his presence in this conversation is massive. Why? Because the more extreme the diss, the more sympathy he gains from certain audiences. It's like when someone goes too hard in an argument, suddenly the person they're attacking starts to look like the victim. And that shift, that's powerful. Now imagine this like a game of tug-of-war. Kendrick is pulling with intensity, aggression, and dominance. But if he pulls too hard, he risks losing balance. And Drake, he might just be waiting for that exact moment. Now let's zoom out, because this is not just about two artists anymore. This is about the boundaries of hip-hop itself. Where is the line? Does it even exist? Or is crossing it the whole point? Because if Kendrick did go too far, it could force the industry to rethink how far artists can push things. But if he didn't, then this just raised the bar for every future diss track. Either way, the impact is real. Now here's the twist nobody can ignore. Despite all the controversy, the attention, the debates, the diss tracks are being replayed, analyzed, quoted, and turned into cultural moments. So even the criticism is feeding the machine. It's like trying to put out a fire with gasoline. Every reaction just makes it brighter. And Kendrick, he's right at the center of it, unbothered, unapologetic, unmoved. Now here's the final question, the one that really matters. Did Kendrick Lamar go too far, or did he go exactly as far as he needed to win? Because in hip-hop, those two things can look very similar until the consequences show up. And trust me, they always do.